Okay, so this will be a quick review of what was on the Pythagorean Theorem and geometric mean quiz. So let's handle Pythagorean Theorem first. Pythagorean Theorem is simply a way to, well, it's a, let me get my marker out, sorry. It's what we can use to solve for missing sides in a right triangle. So our old mathematician Pythagoras said that the leg of a right triangle, that one leg squared plus the other leg squared would equal the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so if you're given two of these, you can always solve for the third one. So this is just a matter of plugging in numbers. So if you were given a, say, 5 and a 7 for these sides, then I'm going to say, all right, the missing side is a squared plus 5 squared equals 7 squared. Work the numbers. 25 equals 49. Solve this for a. So a squared equals, this is, that's almost 50, so that would be 25, so this must be 24. And then to solve a squared, I'm going to take the square root of both sides, because I'm going to take the square root of something squared. I basically undo the squaring. The square root of a squared would just be a. And then the square root of 24. It depends on this test. You were able to enter a decimal answer. So you're just going to, in your calculator, hit 24, and then the square root button, and you will get a decimal 4.89. Depends on how it asks you to round. I can't actually remember for that quiz, but if it said nearest tenth, then you would say 4.9 is a final answer. 9 rounds the 8 up to a 9, okay? That's basic Pythagorean theorem. We also said, related to Pythagorean theorem, you can use it to determine if a triangle is right acute, meaning the angles are all smaller than 90, less than 90 degrees, or obtuse. And this would be an angle that's greater than 90 degrees in the triangle. All right, so if it comes out where they're equal, so let's say you were given 5, 12, and 13. Okay. The way I'm going to do this, first of all, I'm going to identify the hypotenuse. I know it's the largest side, so I know that's the hypotenuse. So when I set this up, I need to say leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. 25 plus 144 equals 169. And this one, oh good grief, I managed to find a right triangle by just grabbing numbers. So those are equal, so that would make a right triangle. Okay, let's try something else. Let's go, if I was given 7, let's go 7, 8, 9, see how this works out. All right, 9 I know is a hypotenuse, so I'm going to go, because it's largest, so 7 squared plus 8 squared equals 9 squared. Let's see how this goes. 49 plus 64 equals 81. So this is 100, 110, 113 equal to 81. So what I'm going to do here, I know this side right here is the hypotenuse. Here's how I remember. Little hypotenuse, the hypotenuse is smaller. Little hypotenuse, little angle. So I know this would be an acute triangle. If this number had come out bigger, then it would be big hypotenuse, obtuse triangle. So you base it on, if the hypotenuse was big, it's obtuse. Hypotenuse was little, it's acute. And I'm just remembering though, none of that was on it. All you have to do is be able to prove if something's a right triangle. You actually only have to do this. It's either right or it's not. That quiz doesn't get into acute and obtuse. We reviewed that for the DIA. So anyway, if it works, if it's equal, it's right. If it's not equal, then it's not a right triangle. Okay, so Pythagorean theorem, using it to determine if it's a right triangle. And then the next part was geometric mean. Okay, geometric mean, you're only going to do geometric mean if you have a picture that looks like this. Right triangle, and from that right triangle you have a line that comes down and makes another right triangle. Okay, there are there's two different medians. Let's say we're given these numbers. Okay, so the geometric mean, I can say that I know this altitude right here is the geometric mean between these two sides that it splits. So when I see this picture, I'm going to set up geometric mean goes top and bottom. The two sides go in the other two places. This is the setup, which says, because I know that the x is the geometric mean between the two sides, 3 and 7. To solve this, I'm going to cross multiply. X squared equals 21. I'm going to take the square root of both sides, and x is going to equal the square root of 21. And then to get a decimal answer, I would put that in my calculator. 21, hit square root button, and in this case I'm getting 4.58. Rounding to the nearest tenth, I would do 4.6. Okay, that's one kind of geometric mean problem. The other kind, I'll do it right on this picture. Say you have to solve for this. Y is the geometric mean between, or the leg, is the geometric mean between the side that it's with and the total hypotenuse. So that's how I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to cross multiply just like before, and y would equal the square root of 30 and get a decimal answer. And you could have the same situation on the other leg. It would work exactly the same. We'll call it z. Z is the geometric mean between the numbers 7, side it's with, and the total hypotenuse. Okay, and that's all you're going to do for the geometric mean. Z squared equals 70, z equals square root 70, get a decimal answer. Okay, that's the 3 possible situations. Now let's do a little bit different problem. Got a right triangle. I'm going to drop an altitude right there. It's going to make another right angle. Now let's say the x was here, and I was given 5 and I was given 8. Okay, and they said solve for x. I'm going to set it up the same way. 5 is the altitude, so that's the geometric mean. It gets written twice between the parts of the hypotenuse, x and 8. Now when I cross multiply, I get 25 equals 8x, and then just solve for that. X equals, well, whatever that is, 25 divided by 8. Put that in a calculator. So the thing to remember is that the setup, this geometric mean is always that number. That's what you want to put in twice. And then the other two numbers get filled into the other two places. Okay? And then the same would apply with the legs. Okay? So you got to keep track. The geometric means are never parts of the hypotenuse. Okay? So you're either going to set up this way or the other ways that we talked about. And the last part of geometric mean is just the idea of what is just finding a geometric mean between numbers that you're given. So if we said the geometric mean between 12 and 18. So geometric mean is basically the average between two numbers in a geometric sequence. So the way you find it is, well, so we would say find the geometric mean. So you can set it up the same way as the other geometric mean, top and bottom, 12 over 18, cross multiply, and 12 times 18 equals 216, square root of that number, and x equals some decimal. Yeah, you can set it up that way. So if you're just given two numbers, you can set it up as a proportion. Basically, you're going to multiply the numbers and take their square root, which is what you do when you cross multiply. Okay, so that was it. Geometric mean, Pythagorean theorem. These are the only three possible situations. These are the three possible geometric means: the altitude itself, one of the legs, or the other leg. And then if you don't have that picture, you're not using geometric mean, you're going to be using Pythagorean theorem, which would be just for any right triangle. Okay, and we separated these tests out, but you would only see a plain old right triangle or something with an altitude drawn, and then you're going to be looking at geometric mean. All right, hope that helps. Talk to you later.